Stop the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the show. It says it all. There it is. Trump was arrested. Are you prepared? We're going to cover it, you bet. How can you not cover this story, even though everyone's covering it ad nauseum? Welcome back, folks. The Prepared Mind channel, the one place where you're going to be told what is happening out there with some humor, and then also being instructed, you better think about what comes next and what you need to do, aka get prepared. Now, I wonder what it is that we're going to be talking about. What do you want to talk about? Get your questions down below. It is Tuesday, and it is Too Stupid Tuesday. It is Trump Tuesday, and folks, I want to do a couple of facts. Okay, number one, Trump went to New York to deal with this prosecution and the was he summoned? Was there an arrest warrant? There was an indictment, I know, and it turns out, yeah, there were 34 charges against him. Now, some of the media is saying it was 34 felony charges, right? He was not placed in handcuffs. He was taken in and processed, whatever the fuck that means. I've been informed that he spent a few minutes in a jail cell. So Trump was locked up. Trump was arrested. Trump was locked up. Did they get a mug shot of him? I'll tell you what, folks. If it was me and Joe Biden had been arrested, or Hunter Biden, or Hillary Clinton, or Obama, or anyone else, I would be putting every meme out there I could that was funny and made me laugh, showing them behind bars, dropping the soap in the shower, etc. So I expect and anticipate that that can happen with Trump, except left-wing idiots really are so stupid, they don't know how to make a meme. They just know how to yell, F you, fascist Nazis. So he went to New York because of the indictment. He turned himself in and was processed. He was detained in a jail cell briefly. He was taken to court and arraigned. He was asked how he pleads. He said not guilty. And now, apparently, he's somewhere on an airplane flying back to Florida. Those are the facts as I have been told. The world is not caught on fire. There are not riots and burning and looting and murdering going on, not to my knowledge. The world is basically the same as it was this morning. And what was it this morning? We are in a mild state of SHTF. We are dealing with government lawlessness, unwarranted prosecution, right? Hypocritical, unlawful persecution, and political chicanery and assassination is occurring right now. That is where we truly are at. There is political persecution and political assassination of people's credibility and their lives and everything else. That's where we're at. And I want to remind everyone, this is how I started this morning's show at 0 Dark 30. A Democrat lawmaker. I love how they call them lawmakers. Sorry, there's one lawmaker, and that's it. The rest are just legislators, legislate, writers. They're not law writers, they're just writers. Anyways, the woman I'm going to talk about, folks, is telling me where we are in the game. She has that crazed look in her eye, very crazed look in her eye. Her name is Carly Provanza, and she has really big, I take way too many drugs eyes. She's got that, I've taken too many drugs, and I'm very, very alert. Right? Just like all of our crazed killers out there. And she's got a smile that says, I eat shit for dinner, and I like it. She's got this big smile. Okay, and she is a very scary character. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because she is elected by the people of her state. And she called for politically motivated murders in a very, very literal sense. Anyone that opposes the trans agenda, she has prescribed something for. Right? She put up this meme from Antifa, meaning Antifa. And it says, protect trans folks against fascists and bigots. That's what they want, folks. That's what they are after. So Carly Provanza, Democrat, posted a video on TikTok. And the voiceover called for politically motivated murders. Right? And she posted Antifa's protect trans folks against fascists and bigots. Since when do fascist politicians want to stop trans folks? Fascists are concerned with business, money, and government. It has nothing to do with it. It was very fascinating. Anyways, the video has Provanza's political beliefs on display. She says, kill everyone now, kill everyone now, kill everyone now, and condone first-degree murders. Now, she is the House Minority Whip in her state. She's been in office since 2020. What else happened in 2020? Oh, yeah, 2020. That 2020. Now, the reason this is important to me is this is how they all think. They want to condone, they want to normalize the murder of anyone that opposes their agenda. Well, their agenda is protecting people who don't know what their gender are and want to cut off their genitals. That you would think would be one of the most insane people you would want to defend. They should be locked up for their own health and safety. These trans people, not paraded in front of everyone as the most brave amongst us. They should be protected from themselves because they are hurting themselves. No one else is. Folks, this is who they are, and this is what they want, and this is where things are going, and that's what's important. Trump was arrested? Yes. Trump was arraigned? Yes. Trump pled not guilty? Yes. Trump went home? Yes. That's going to continue. It is going to be a political circus. They could find him guilty of one or more of these crimes. But we can talk about those crimes that he's being charged with. And it's an asinine charge. It truly is. It truly is. Asinine. I mean, let's just do this. I'm telling you, where do we go from here? It can only go down further. But what I don't want people to do is panic and think there's World War III in the streets. This is not the end of anything. This is just a continuation. It's a continuation, folks. Now, this is what we've got. This is pretty important. I get past these loud bastards here. Where is it? Good golly. You see, what has happened is everything I wanted to put is not here. Literally taken off. I don't know what happened to my stuff. Anyways, the point was, and let me get to that. Good God. Well, fuck it. I'm going to go from memory. Essentially, what Trump is being accused of, these crimes, is his paperwork, folks. That's what he's dealing with, is paperwork. Good. And now the entire internet is fucked up. Bear with me, please. Good. Gee, many crickets. Okay. Trump is being accused of committing crimes that only an accountant and a bookkeeper could be charged with. He is not a bookkeeper. He's the CEO of a corporation, right? If his bookkeepers and accountants committed crimes, how is it that Trump is being held accountable for it? Right? It'd be like someone at Ford Motor Company committing a crime and they go and arrest Bill Ford for it. Doesn't make any sense, but that's where we're at. These people will charge him with everything they can to make a news headline in an effort to destroy him. But the fact of the matter is that Trump's record is the same, but his approval is going up. No matter what he's done or not done, his approval is going up. So what does that tell us? Right? It tells us that their ploy is not working. It is not deterring people. In fact, it's encouraging people to support him. But the left is going absolutely nuts. Okay, here we go. Let's go with this. Fox News was trying to cover the protests in New York City, and they were absolutely surrounded by left-wing ding-dongs. And they called them xenophobic Nazis. They called them fascists, and they called them obliging xenophobes, meaning you're encouraging others. So that's what Fox got. Fox is, in my opinion, nowhere near a right-wing conservative news station. But what the left wing was doing was making as much noise and stink as they could at every news outlet in an effort to influence people to believe that, yeah, Trump has been arrested, he's going to prison forever, and he is the bad guy. He's the boogeyman. That's what they're up to. Meanwhile, they really want us dead. A college student apparently decided to threaten a member of Congress over opposition to gay people and said that, this is the quote, "We will kill you." See, these death threats, they come from people in Congress. They come from people on the street now. They're all left-wing screwballs, every last one of them. They scream things like fascist, obliging Nazis, xenophobes, meaning you're afraid of everything. I'm not afraid of shit. Well, I guess you could say I'm afraid of the government turning the Constitution upside down, canceling it, and then starting a war with us. Yeah, I'm afraid of that happening, but I have a plan in case it does. That's right, I have a plan in case it does. Wow. I mean, seriously, folks, this is what else is going on. Not only are they bringing gays into this New York fiasco, they're worried about Republicans committing crimes from the protests. What we have is a bunch of screaming lefties. Another woman came out and she said, "I'm a racist." And then she said, "Fuck white people." That's right, folks. A woman who is black, no less, painted herself white and makes racist statements in front of the media, in front of everybody. Basically, she's a reverse KKK. Right? Now, if someone in a KKK hat came out, isn't that just considered right off the bat a hate crime? You put a sheet on your head with the corner point going up, and you're going to jail for that, right? Because it incites racial violence and hatred. Yet these people can show up on the street and do that during Trump's trial because they want everyone to hear them. That's how crazy they are. She says, "I'm a racist and fuck white people." Let's see, how many black people did I work with today? 3 today and 4 yesterday. And none of this came up. Surprisingly, none of us decided white people were bad. I was outvoted 4-1 yesterday and 3-1 today. Anyways, this is what they're doing. They're pushing the race war. They're pushing the race war. They're pushing the gay war. They're pushing the trans war, and they're pushing the anti-Trump war, and they're threatening murder and chaos, assassination. They're pushing all of this right now. This is where this is going. Trump, it's going to be a while, folks, before there's a trial. Let's see, he's been arraigned. He said not guilty. Now they need to go find a jury. How long does that take? Quite a while. It would have made a different statement, though, if they had arrested Trump and sent him to the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police prison, where they're holding all of the other Americans who have done nothing wrong, well, except parading and, that's right, trespassing. These people are that crazy, though, folks. They're that crazy. Now, has Trump committed a crime? Legal scholars, legal experts are weighing in and saying, according to what they've read in the indictment, the 34 counts, he hasn't committed a crime. But Trump's attorney did talk to Don Lemon on TV and said, hey, let's remember the real crime is that we have the district attorney Bragg leaked that there are 34 counts. And that in itself is a felony. Isn't that interesting, folks? Who are the criminals here? Well, it looks like the district attorney Bragg is. That he's falsely accusing someone, falsely prosecuting them. He's hiding evidence, withholding evidence, manufacturing evidence. What is he doing, right? And then he leaks information in a criminal manner. Who's the real criminal, folks? Where are the real criminals in this? They're out here on the street. They're not behind bars. They're not behind bars. Very scary stuff. Now, Ronna McDaniel, AKA, she's the daughter of Mittens Romney. She's supposed to be in charge of the Republican Party. Well, the Republican Party decided to make a statement, a weak sauce statement about the Trump arrest. Where's the outrage by the Republican National Committee over this obvious, transparent, blatant partisan attack on the leader of the opposition in this country? Because that's what Trump is. He's the leader of the opposition party. He opposes Biden. He opposes the Democrats. He opposes Washington, D.C. and their bureaucracy. Unbelievable. But believe it, it's real. Oh, and don't forget that District Attorney Bragg was funded, his campaign was funded by George Soros. Can you imagine Soros's pleasure, his happiness, his Mr. Smithers, excellent type thing as he sits in his chair, that he has actually gotten this far in controlling American politics. Now, Hillary Clinton, folks, what did she do? Hillary Clinton, back in 2016, fabricated lies that were carried around by the entire Democrat system, right? She did her fake Russia Trump dossier bullshit. But this is what the indictment talks about. The indictment said that payments to two women were to silence them in order to avoid, their stories from harming his chance of winning the election over Hillary Clinton. So essentially, the prosecutor has said this is not about the crimes as much as it's undermining Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. In other words, over 6 years ago, that election happened, and they are now getting their revenge. This is about revenge, folks. This is Hillary Clinton's revenge. This is the deep state's revenge. They don't let go of these grudges. They are never, ever going to go away. If we returned our country right now to the pristine constitutional republic status by getting rid of all of the abusive government power and authority, the Democrats would never, ever, ever forget it. Just like Hillary is not going to forget this. Soros hasn't forgotten what happened. They're going to continue to fight us, folks, you and me. And they're willing to go to all lengths, commit any crime. It's that dangerous for us in this country, in this republic. That's really where we're going. What time have we got here? I'm in at 21 minutes. And I want to remind everyone, folks, this is not just about America, right? We are in SHTF. And oh yeah, there is World War III news that has happened today. Putin has threatened to, quote, eliminate U.S. world dominance. And he's accusing the United States, NATO, and England of fighting a hybrid war, a new type of war. So while America is busy watching Trump go through a circus arrest, a circus accusation, a circus trial started, we actually have some much bigger fish to fry. How do you eliminate U.S. dominance in the world? Let me ask you that question. How do you eliminate U.S. dominance? America is the military superpower. America was the economic superpower. America was the moral superpower in the world. Are we the moral superpower anymore? Let's ask Mr. Ice Cream, hair-sniffing, child-groping pedo Hitler. Not the moral superpower. Is our military the superpower that it was? Let's ask General Milli Vanilli when he's done putting on his fishnet stockings and lipstick. The new woke military, woke Pentagon, is it the superpower and super threat that it was to the world to maintain peace? Or is the military used to further, shall we say, large corporate concerns, the military-industrial complex? That term was first used by President Eisenhower. That was before President Kennedy. So when he was leaving office back in 1960, President Eisenhower spoke of the military-industrial complex. Over 60 years ago, they haven't gotten rid of it, still here, right? So let's see, the military and our moral superiority and our economy, our money, the U.S. dollar, the petrodollar. Russia wants to eliminate the U.S. as a world superpower. So how does that happen? We lose our dominance militarily, morally, and financially. Our economy. Who is trashing our economy? It's not Trump. It's Biden. And so Biden and the powers that be want us, well, shall we say, distracted with this whole Trump fiasco, while they go about continuing to bring the United States economy down, military down, and bring us down our morale due to the absolutely corrupt and immoral government and their behavior and their actions. We've got big, big problems. Let me read to you something coming. Right. Putin calls the United States a source of major risks to Russia and peace in general. Okay, here's a quote from the Concept of Foreign Policy. It was published by the Kremlin, which is their version of the White House. It said, Russia's course towards the United States is of a combined nature, taking into account the role of this state as one of the influential sovereign centers of world development, and at the same time, the main inspirer, organizer, and executor of the aggressive anti-Russian policy of the collective West. The source of the main risks for the security of the Russian Federation, the international world, balanced, fair, and progressive development of mankind. Well, that sounds very magnanimous and high sounding, doesn't it? But what they want to do, according to the same thing, is their priority is to eliminate the vestiges of dominance of the United States and other unfriendly states. And what they want to do is create conditions for the refusal of any state for the neo-colonial and hegemonic ambitions. In other words, they want to interfere with, eliminate, remove, minimize, marginalize the United States. Right? The United States is trying to weaken Russia, it says. And it's true. We've already heard that. We know that. That's part of this hybrid war. But Russia's fighting back in this hybrid war. At the same time that our own government in Washington, D.C. is doing everything it can to destroy this country. They're bringing down the military, not Putin. They're bringing down the economy, not Putin. Of course, Putin's doing things to help. He's sitting back and laughing while they sanction Putin. He just raises his oil prices. Yeah, Russia is better off for everything that Biden has done. And Russia's made a stink over what is going on in Ukraine and helped expose what is going on in Ukraine. Over 2,500 sanctions, folks, have been imposed. Against Russia since February of 2022. Interesting. So just over a year, 2,500 sanctions by the United States government. Right. There's a war going on, folks, at every level, from international with Russia to national in D.C. against Trump, which is being fought on a local level, down to the street level where we're at, where politicians and local ding-dongs are cussing at us and threatening our lives and sanctioning and authorizing murder from their little teeny high chairs of power. Literally. We will kill you, they say, because of the gays. That's what they're about. And also, folks, this is very interesting. But in a lot of ways, people are likening what's going on. Wayne Root wrote that Trump isn't Jesus, but Democrats are persecuting like he is. And I thought that's just an interesting saying. That's just an interesting thought that that's what's going on. Right? The giant jackass Jamal Bowman, who was freaking out the other day and screaming at people as they came out of Congress, calling them cowards. And when someone tried talking to him, all he did was shout him down. He was out on the street being a big ass loudmouth, trying to silence Marge Taylor Greene. Isn't it interesting, folks, how loud these people are and why they have to scream? It's unbelievable what is happening. To me, this is unbelievable because it's so fucking stupid. You know, they say kill everyone now. They say, right, first-degree murder should be okay. They're killing this country and the economy, and they're sanctioning and calling for killing of everyone. What do you think? Are you prepared for what's coming? Right? They don't look at the real law and what's really happening. The idiot Mayor Adams of New York City says that New York is the safest big city in the country. I don't know what statistics he's reading. Obviously, he's a liar. But he said there'll be no shenanigans, right? No bullshit coming from the Republicans. Who's screaming at the cameras? Who's threatening who? Right? Now, in her defense, she intelligently said Adams should be more concerned, Mayor Adams, that is, about New York citizens being murdered, raped, robbed, and carjacked. But see, there is no place for intelligent debate with these people. We're past that now. That's how far into SHTF we are. You cannot speak intelligently. You cannot have a discussion. We're being distracted with this completely asinine prosecution of Trump. But at the same time, in my opinion, it has incredible significance because of the precedent it's setting, the legal precedent that the government can at any time make up some bullshit charges, arrest you, and then you've got to spend your time defending yourself, your money defending yourself. Now, of course, we all know this has been going on with regular citizens for decades. The government using its power to destroy people's lives, to just charge the shit out of them with crimes and then let them try and defend themselves. You know, that's a way to silence your opposition, is to persecute them with lawfare. That is using the legal system as an act of war against the individual. This is where we're at. Are you prepared? Literally, are you prepared? Let's do this. I now want to go into, you bet, Ask John Live. And there we are. You'll notice how calm I am. It's not that I'm not concerned. It's not that I'm not pissed off. It's not that I'm not worried for America, for my children, for my grandson now, that I'm worried for my neighbor and my state. I am, all those things. But I'm sitting back and thinking. I was like, do I bring out all of my and say, hey, try and arrest me, bastards, and see what happens? No. You know, it's just ridiculous showmanship. And there's so many channels out there that want to do that. I'm sure there's plenty out there that want to get you overly excited. But I think we need to take a step back and really look at what's going on. Not to be, how do we say this? It's not that we shouldn't be concerned. It's just we need to be intelligently concerned and really watch what's going on and really see what's happening. This is happening and it has consequences. It's also a distraction, which has consequences. I brought up World War III and Putin and what they're saying. They're destroying America's currency, folks, while America is destroying America's currency. That is part of our world power. That is part of our standard of living. That is part of U.S. hegemony and dominance of the world. And it used to be that America was looked up for that. You know, everyone was like, hey, America's number one. They're the most powerful. Let's get behind them. Let's work with them. Let's be more American. Now everyone was like, hey, not so much. Get away, right? They're destroying America. And Putin's going to do everything he can to make that happen as well. Who's more of a Putin stooge and ally? Trump or the Democrats in Washington? Ask yourself that. Who's doing more to destroy America, Trump or the Democrats? Who's doing more to help Putin and Russia become rich, influential, powerful? That would be the Biden administration. By destroying America and weakening it, he's bringing us and this nation to our knees in a almost literal sense. All right. Uman says it's time to get to it. What do you guys want to talk about? Uman, who wants to step up first? It is Charlanator. And she says, I was thinking about all these males identifying as females. After all these years of women's liberation and equality, maybe it's their way of retaliation. I really like the topic. So let's get into it a little bit, Charlanator. And trust me, I have spent some time thinking on this one. How many years and how many decades have men been told that they're idiots, that they're insensitive, that they're toxic, that women are better and men are low creatures? Men have been told to hate themselves. Look in the mirror, men. You should hate yourselves. And so this generation that's young has. They look in the mirror and they see a man and they hate it. They've been told women are superior. So, like any motivated creature, they seek to be like that which they admire. In order to do that, you've got to castrate yourself psychologically and physically. And that's what they're doing. They've given themselves up, a form of psychological suicide. That's what the feminists have done. Now, again, the distinction between feminine, that is womanly, and feminists, which are militant cock haters, there's quite a big difference. But it's interesting that they've gotten men to hate themselves so much now. Not all of us. Obviously, I'm not afraid of being a man. I still think I'm pretty darn awesome. When I look in the mirror, I go, dude, you're pretty awesome. But yeah, now these men who claim to be women because they hate themselves, they're like, well, shouldn't I be able to compete in sports because men are competitive? But they claim to be women, so now they're competitive wannabe women, and they go out and compete with women and are destroying them. So the feminists have done this to themselves. Yep. These are the consequences, unintended. I can't tell you, there's been many stories, can't tell you how many exactly, but many stories that the real cock haters out there are completely pissed off that men are now pretending to be women or acting like women or claiming to be women. They're pissed off at them because these guys are like, I'm a woman now and I know what it feels like. They've abandoned themselves and committed psychological suicide to such a degree that they think they're women. And, well, biological women with vaginas who hate penises don't accept them as women. But for everyone else who's in the middle of the road in this ridiculous gender battle, they go, oh my gosh, these transsexuals are so brave for committing psychological suicide, right? Miring themselves in quicksand of self-hatred and self-loathing. They're all doomed. But now we've gone to the next level. Somehow they've created this idea that there's genocide against them. Look how fast this has evolved, folks. In a generation and a half, we've gone from you're in the closet, now they're out of the closet, now they're asking to be accepted, they want to be married, we can't pick on them anymore, no one's allowed to be mean, but they can now pick on us, then we have to accept them, then we have to praise them and heap praise, and then they go from just being gay to being trans everywhere, and then they want to play in women's sports, and then they want to tell us we're bad for being straight, and now they want guns and they want to kill us. They want a war against us. They want their day of vengeance, and they have. We now have mass murders by these fruitcakes, both against other fruitcakes as well as against Christian children. Look how quickly that's evolved. Look at how quickly the negative consequences are being visited upon all of us. All of us. Unbelievable. It's when you say maybe it's their way of retaliation, this is natural law and the consequences or the retaliatory consequences of violating nature's law by allowing people to openly proclaim that they're fruitcakes and then to have everyone accept it. This is what happens. Here we are. And trust me, there is a lot more negative consequences to come. Surprise, there's going to be more murder. Surprise, there's going to be more suicide. Surprise, there's going to be more outrage at what these people do next. Stand by to see what these fruitcakes do next, because they're not happy just being allowed out of the closet. They're not happy being given equal treatment. They're not happy being allowed, folks, to proclaim who they are. Their little pride parades, those have become more and more filthy and disgusting. Public displays of lewdness in an effort for someone to pay attention to them and tell them how important they are. They're screaming for recognition. They're screaming for someone to say, you're a good person. And people scream, you're a good person, but they hate themselves so much that they can't stop. It is a psychologist's dream and nightmare all at the same time to study this parade of nonsense and self-destructive behavior and culturally destructive behavior and politically destructive behavior. Whew. Good stuff. Thank you, Charlanator. Let us move on if we shall. Now we've got Cottage Farm, and thank you, Cottage Farm, for all the support you give in the show. She says, KPMG, a major accounting firm, is promoting their services to comply with environmental, social governance. You bet. We need more environmental bullshit, climate change crap. So if your company is all about that, they'll make sure to give you a better rating, even though your company is losing money, is a pile of shit. Let's see, social governance. Well, if you don't have enough fruitcakes on your board and in management, then we're going to give you a low score. But if you hire a bunch of incompetent nitwits who know nothing about the business that they're managing or the boards on which they sit, then you get a higher score, even though those decisions are going to destroy those companies. And we're seeing evidence of that. Budweiser just destroyed itself. I can't imagine a single cowboy, roughneck, construction worker, tough guy, man, who drinks Bud Light. Men do. Men drink probably 95% of the Bud Light. Women drink foo-foo stuff like, what do women drink? They like those White Claws and Trulies. They love that shit. And if they're going to drink a beer, it's going to be some foo-foo light chickie beer, like a blonde. And I'm not saying I don't like a blonde. I'm just saying those are the beers that women like. Blue Moon, right? Just soft stuff. Now, I do know women that love fucking India Pale Ales, IPAs, and stouts. And I know women that drink that stuff too. But by and large, women out there have a lighter, softer palate than men, and they're going to drink that foo-foo shit. So Budweiser's destroyed itself. There's some ESG for you right there. I mean, the moment that can came out with a trans on there claiming to be girly power, sales plummeted. Bud can go fuck itself, right? Remember the Budweiser frogs? Budweiser. I mean, now they're saying like Bud was whatever. It's fucking stupid. Stupid shit. Coca-Cola says be more white. What? I mean, honestly, folks, I know black people, and it's like they have got to be looking at these companies going, are you that fucking stupid? You just told a majority of Americans, the white population, to be less like themselves? I mean, black people have got to be laughing their asses off at these fucking idiot corporations killing themselves. Fucking gays ought to be laughing themselves going, look at these fucking companies destroying themselves by bringing all these radical fruitcakes and putting them on the board. They know jack shit. Except the leftist versions of those people, they're all for it. What a bunch of morons. Folks, has there ever been a better time to be a prepper? I don't think so. I really don't. You need to be well aware of what's happening. You need to be well aware of what's happening because it's getting worse. And there's no way out of it. We're going to get worse. Okay, Uman, what do we want to do next? And thanks again, Cottage Farm. Now we got Uman. He says, Bonnie Blue 2A sent me a link today saying that while everyone was focusing on the Trump circus, Biden approved another $2 billion in military support to Ukraine. Another $2 billion. I remember as a kid, to be a millionaire, that was what you wanted to be, a millionaire. How many of us are millionaires, folks? I know people with millions of dollars in assets. I know some people have millions of dollars in cash or cash value. But yeah, next after millionaire is a billionaire. $2 billion. It takes 1,000 millions to be a billion. $2 billion goes to Ukraine. Why? They're getting their asses handed to them by the Russians. You know, I mean, if Russia really wanted to destroy Ukraine, how hard do you think it would be? How hard do you think it would be for Russia to go into Kiev and light up their government buildings and absolutely destroy them? Wouldn't be hard at all. Thank you, Bonnie Blue, and thank you, Mr. Uman. And next, let's see, who wants to step up and talk? David Clinton says, hearing July is target for FedCoin. That's right, the central bank digital currency. It's on its way. They're still pushing this. I continue to listen to expert after expert after expert after expert after expert on finance, monetary policy, the economy, banking, etc. And I do this oftentimes in the middle of the night. I'll wake up, I can't sleep. I go put on the nearest egghead trying to learn what the hell it is they're doing with this central bank digital currency, FedCoin, in other words. And they're going to try it. And the last one I listened to was, I think, Alistair McLeod. And he was like, it just can't work. It won't work. It fails. The idea sucks. Now, Alistair McLeod, of course, is an old geezer. A lot of these guys are old geezers. And I keep hearing this. They just don't know what they're talking about. They're too old. Their brains are inelastic. At the same time, if a central bank digital currency, the FedCoin, was such a good idea, so sound an idea, why is it taking so long to get it launched? They already know that all they have to do is hand the wealth out, kind of like, what do they call that? Well, they want to give everyone money. Universal Basic Income, UBI. They want to give everyone UBI, folks. Well, just give it to us in FedCoin. Well, how do they get stores to accept FedCoin? What value does FedCoin have? Right? Is one FedCoin the same as one US dollar? Can you take your FedCoins to the bank and electronically trade them in for US dollars? If someone gave you 1,000 FedCoins, 1,000 US dollars value, would you leave it in FedCoin or would you exchange out of it? You see, that's what's going to happen, is no one wants this shit. If it worked, if their system worked, they would have introduced it a long time ago and run with it. But it looks like they're about to give it a shot coming up here in this summer. They want to introduce it. They want to roll it out. I love that term. They're going to roll it out. I wonder if it's going to work, folks. I wonder if people are going to want that crap. I wonder. I really do. Look out, right? Anytime the government wants to give you something for free, you ought to be pretty damn suspicious. I know I am suspicious of this crap. Definitely suspicious. Okie dokie. Here it comes, David. FedCoin, it's on its way. I mean, I've been talking about FedCoin since what? 2017, 2018? When I kind of, that's the name I wanted to give it, FedCoin, because you had Bitcoin and, they've tried making it gold backed. That didn't work, right? They tried making it asset backed. That hasn't worked. They tried making it backed on this blockchain. Like, okay, you sell slaves on the block and you keep them in chains. Here it comes. Hang on, folks. Hang on to your hats. Bend over and grab your ankles. They're doing something to us different every day in order to keep us distracted, confused, and distracted some more. And by the way, Trump's been arrested. You need to get out in the streets and start screaming and yelling. The negative consequences of that, folks. Arresting a former president on bullshit charges. They're absolutely flirting with partisan conflict. They're flirting with that bad. I'm pretty calm, and I tend to get that way when things are pretty nerve-wracking and nasty out. Other people lose their shit. People who show up on the street and say, I'm a racist, I hate white people. Okay, then. We know who you are. Right? Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. means of self-defense. You have a plan. Blue Man, who do we want to pop up on there next? It is none other than our friend Kaz, the Italian Hillbilly. And go to his channel, the Italian Hillbilly, on YouTube and sign up. And of course, there's always the rsyndicate.com, which is your clearinghouse for all channels and websites that are prepper related, prepper friendly, and they're going to help you understand. So the Italian Hillbilly says, another train derailment close to 30 minutes ago. All parties involved are safe, not hurt. Train was only carrying 390 tons of gravel. Thank God. Or is that thank God? Yeah, I mean, train derailments, they happen all the time. We had one in Montana. I had one in, well, of course, Ohio was a big one. Yeah, they derailed. Now, thank God it was only gravel. I wonder if Dabu 7 is going to go. I don't know what Dabu would say. Apparently, according to some, a lot of these fear porn guys are being called out for their fear porn. Everything is not the end of the world, but if you see enough of this going on, you can see a pattern. You can see a direction. And of course, you can find out and say, well, this is what I need to do then. And I think that prepping is it. And you need to prep to action. I really want to see conservative lawmakers take action against these left-wing weenies. I want to see conservative district attorneys start prosecuting Democrats for their crimes. And still the question is, how can a local district attorney prosecute President Trump for a federal violation of law? So local district attorneys can now press federal charges in their local courts against anyone they want. Like I said, it's a dangerous precedent that's being set. Dangerous precedent. And if we can just ignore the law for Trump, imagine how easily they can ignore the law for you or me. All right, let's roll on if we shall. Who is next? It's Charles Gentry, another great contributor to the channel. He says, what happens when China and Russia give the United Arab Emirates the ability and technology to refine their own oil at will and sell finished product for higher profits and cutting out the U.S. refined fuels, while lowering output to the West, cutting our ability to refine? The U.S. government would not let the United Arab Emirates refine their own oil. China will. Okay, so you have Saudi Arabia, Aramco. Their company there is called Aramco. Isn't it interesting that the U.S. government would say to the United Arab Emirates, no, which is another country in the Persian Gulf area, Arabia. The U.S. government said, no, you're not going to do that. We're going to buy your oil, and you're not allowed to do that. Well, why should they do what the United States government says? The emerging market economies of the world, right? China's emerged in the last 30, 40 years from essentially the Stone Ages up to world superpower. India wants to do the same thing. Pakistan, you bet. Other countries like Brazil, South Africa, there's a lot of African nations, folks, that are trying to burst into the scene as emerging market economies because they have natural resources that they can sell on the open market. And they're making huge deals with China and Russia. And the United States is losing their influence and power over these countries. Bullying them isn't working. Threatening to take away their credit cards, folks. This would be national social governance on the national or nation's level of everything. We have the United States saying, if you don't play by our rules and the rules of Europe, we're going to kick you off the SWIFT system, essentially the nations or national banking system, the banking system that nations use, the SWIFT system. So you can send money from one country to another, and this country can send money to that country. It's the SWIFT system. Well, it is now being ignored by many, many countries as they go over to the BRICS system and their cross-border payment system. They're abandoning SWIFT, and they're getting tired of the U.S. blustering, and it's all Biden It's all deep state. It's all rich mega corporations, and they're going to find out, folks, that they don't have the power they think they did. Japan just discovered that Japan and the United States and Europe don't have the power that they think they have. Japan was forced to buy oil from Russia at the selling price Russia had in mind, not the price established by the West. This is what's going on. And the West means the United States, which of course includes Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. It includes England and Europe, etc. That's the West. And they're screwing up big time. They're screwing up big time. Thank you very much, Charles. We're watching it. We're watching the elimination of the United States and the importance of the West and their influence on a daily basis. All right, who do we have next, man? We have BMW 9mm. And he says, question, what are your thoughts on Japan buying Russian oil? I thought they were one of our bigger allies. Oh, they are. Japan is a huge ally of the West, the United States and Europe. Japan was a British colony for a long time, right? They have adopted Western business practices and models, from banking to business to finance, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, now they're like, well, I guess if we want oil, we're going to have to pay for it. And I just briefly touched on this before your question, BMW. They're one of our bigger allies, but they're sitting out there going, we need oil, we need energy. And the cost of liquid natural gas, LNG, skyrocketed because of what? Nord Stream pipeline, terrorist attack, destruction, way more, folks. If 9/11 and the destruction of the Twin Towers and the Pentagon was a couple of $1 billion, it's almost $1 trillion in higher energy costs to buy LNG because of that terror event against the Nord Stream pipeline. Japan can't afford it. They're firing up their nuclear power fleet fast as they can. They're bringing their reactors back online. And guess what? If they can't get fuel, nuclear fuel from the United States, guess where they'll get it from? You guessed it, they'll get it from Russia. They're buying Russian oil, they'll buy Russian nuclear energy, they'll buy whatever they can as cheap as they can. And who's the United States to tell them no? At the same time, China hates Japan. There's always worries about war between China and Japan, right? Strange bedfellows when people are hungry and they need energy. It's going to continue to get stupider and stupider, folks. Great comment, great question, great topic. Expect more on Japan. Is Japan going to join BRICS, which is the alliance between Russia, China, Brazil, India? I mean, literally, they are 2/3 of the planet's population, if not 3/4, the BRICS Union already. Okay, let's move on if we shall. We have Chin Music checking in. What's up, brother? He says, how many subpoenas could the Republicans send out for fruitcake commies that we can prove lied under oath? 51 former intelligence agents. Anyone? For starters. Oh, I mean, here's a big one. Ready? Eric Holder, Attorney General for Obama, lied on multiple occasions. Sent guns down into Mexico to drug lords so they could use them down there and we could outlaw guns here. It was called Fast and Furious. It was a flop of an operation, and it resulted in the deaths of American law enforcement when those guns found their way back into this country. Eric Holder, get him out of here. James Comey, liar, cheat, snake, failed to do his job. Ruby Rod Rosenstein, Peter Strzok. I'm in the FBI corner right now. Chris Wray. How about the Attorney General's office? How about Merrick Garland? How about Bob Barr? How about every Democrat in Congress? I would love to see it. These people lied under oath. They abused their power. They neglected to take care of business or failed to fulfill their obligation, their duties. I think they're all un-American and they should be tried for it. There needs to be accounting, folks, not the money kind of accounting, but accountability. These people need to be held accountable for the things they've done that have harmed America and the things they've failed to do to protect America. You can't just be bad at your job, I don't think. They need to be held accountable. Thank you, Chin Music, for that. The great picture of that t-shirt you had on in the gym the other day, and for making us laugh real hearty, good belly laugh. Anyways, thanks, man. Ooman, do we have a couple more? What do we got? Ooman says gold is up, silver is up, oil is up, stock market down. World central banks signaling pause on interest rate hikes. None of those are good signs for our economy. Now, it's interesting, folks. Yeah, gold is going to continue to go up, and that is relative to the value of the dollar. Silver up, same story. Oil is up because of, well, scarcity. Scarcity. The Saudis are going to drill, or rather pump, 15 million barrels less per month. So, of course, there's going to be a shortage. The prices go up. Stock market going down. Now, because of these things, the world central banks, meaning also the Federal Reserve, where Chief Goon Powell, right, Jerome Powell of the Federal Reserve, are now signaling no more rate hikes. They've raised it as high as they could, and they're now choking themselves. So are they going to roll over? Folks, gold and silver have held their own. In fact, they've made quite a comeback. Even though the stock market, right, should be the one benefiting, right? They're pumping all this money into the stock market to hold it up. Normally that drives gold and silver down. Well, gold and silver have held up, right? And that is while they raise rates. If they start printing money and lower rates, that is going to tell the world that the dollar is very weak, that the Federal Reserve is powerless, that they're going to have to start printing money again, wholesale fashion. Expect gold and silver to go bonkers. Expect more banks to fail, even if they lower interest rates. It's all on its way, folks. There's more than just Trump being arrested today, folks. There's chaos, SHTF chaos across the board. And it's all being kept very quiet. Don't worry, they still want to put bugs in your food. Don't worry, they still want to feed you hormone-laden fake meats. They still want you to take the Jim Jones juice. They still want all of those things for you. They want you to have nothing and be happy about it. They still want that. They haven't gone away, these sick bastards. They still want it all. Folks, it's time to go, but I want everyone to remember, chance favors the prepared mind. Semper Fi, are you ready? And aren't you glad you're a prepper?